Alright, so we've gotten a little farther with the B275 rebuild. I've taken off the alternator, radiator hose, hood bracket, which surprisingly enough, that actually, the hood didn't completely fall off the front, which is halfway what I was expecting. I'm going to go ahead and take this air filter housing off because it has all kinds of crud. It's an oil bath air filter. There's the other pieces down there for it. I'm going to take that to work and clean it. Like I said, it's just full of nasty stuff. One thing, if you're working on diesel fuel systems, it probably took me longer to tie all those knots and all those little pieces of plastic bag than it did to do the rest of this work. I actually did the plastic bag stuff the other night, and tonight's the first chance we've had to get back to it. But I don't know if you know anything about diesel fuel systems, like air intake, right here. I don't care about dust getting in that. I mean, it's getting an overhaul. But you do not want dirt in a fuel injection pump. You do not want dirt in diesel fuel injectors. I've bagged the lines, the transfer pump, or prime pump, whatever you want to call it. It's been bagged. Fuel filter bagged, and all the lines for it. So we're pretty much, I think I'm going to have to take this panel off. It has two bolts that go to the back of the cylinder head. I don't know if you can see that. See if I can get my flashlight on. Yeah, right below where the light focus is. I know that light didn't do you any good. But there's two bolts, and I honestly think that's all that holds this panel on. Which isn't a problem. I'll have to take this here fuel line off. That's the return line. Didn't really want my battery and everything exposed to what I was doing. I guess I'll just take it out to be safe. Of course, none of the wiring works on this thing anyways, so well, I guess there's not that much to worry about, but I'll still take it out for safety. And we're getting ready to pull the valve cover and the cylinder head. Another thing I wanted to mention was this valve cover is actually completely cast iron. Which I've never worked on an engine that had cast iron valve covers. I mean, you'd think maybe if it was a giant, a giant engine or something, it would maybe have one. But it's just a little tiny 4-cylinder, 144 cubic inch. Oh, here's another thing. We're on my porch, so I've got it tarped off, our redneck Christmas lights, and I got the heater going back here for my wife, because she's my helper, and I don't want her to get cold. But, I read someplace where they used this same engine block for gasoline engines. I'm thinking there's no way, diesel has way more compression, what have you. Well, I'm pretty sure I'm looking at the proof. Between that right there is a distributor boss. The holes are drilled and tapped, and there's just a freeze plug in where the distributor would go in. And it also has the flange. It's not obviously, drilled and tapped and bossed out for a mechanical fuel pump for a gasoline engine. So I thought that was maybe another pretty neat little thing. And the whole reason why it's gray looking is the oil. We got a terrible misting rain today, and the oil actually, well, you can see right there on the ground, it's soaked up all the moisture, and that's, that's what oil is good for if it's old and cruddy. So I'm going to get this head off, and maybe we'll get you some more video.